You know, people always ask me, how do I get better at Bed Wars? And I tell them, you know, there's a few things you can do. PvP is important, but there's also other things you can do to make yourself better without having to be, you know, absolutely amazing at PvP. In this video, I'll tell you guys 5 tips on how to become better at Bed Wars. Before I start with the tips, I want to let you guys know these have nothing really to do with the mechanics of PvP, so I'm not going to tell you to jitter click, I'm not going to tell you to jump reset or anything like that. That's stuff that, you know, that's for PvP. These are going to be Bed Wars specific tips. So the first thing I'm going to go over, which is, you know, honestly, one of the most important things when it comes to Bed Wars and any resource-driven game in general, and that's manage your resources. Try not to waste any gold, especially at the start of the game. Don't waste any iron. Use all of it to its maximum potential. You know, don't throw away a bunch of iron. Don't spend it on, you know, a stack of blocks when you don't need a stack of blocks. Additionally, resource management doesn't just mean managing your resources. It's keeping track of what people in the game might have. For example, like if I'm gonna go rush people at this point in the game, I assume people are, you know, starting maybe have chain armor. So if I want to have an advantage whenever I rush people, I should probably have at least iron or chain. Oh, I should upgrade my gen. I'm sitting here wasting time. Another important idea is not wasting your time, right? You could be sitting at your gen just waiting for iron armor, but you don't really need to do that. I can go to mid here and collect the emeralds while I wait for my gen to generate enough for iron armor. And then I have more resources in general because no one else has rushed mid. Coming to mid also gives me an opportunity to look around. And, you know, this game looks like I could probably just rush with chain because no one's left their diamond gen yet. See, here I chose to buy wool instead of wood. I didn't get as many blocks, but I'm saving up the iron, or not the iron. I'm saving up the gold for iron armor. Okay, so now I know Magenta has iron armor, and both these people have been to mid now, so Magenta has the most armor and no bed. You know, choosing when to engage fights is important. This guy has... What? I did not fall in the hole. Okay, and then that person just got block trapped. Alright, so now I've talked about resource management. We'll move on to the second tip, which is learn when and when not to engage in fights. For example, if you have no armor and the enemy has chain and you don't have a bed, you should run. You shouldn't engage in a fight unless you can hit them off the edge in one punch, right? You don't want to risk your life so much to where you know, are out of the game. And you also don't want to waste your time going after people over and over again, wasting your time and your resources buying swords and blocks over and over again because you're too rushed and too eager to take out a team. Sometimes just sitting there and waiting. So it also, engaging fights at the right time will help you just have better gear in general. If you're not taking fights that you're gonna lose and die, you're not losing all that resource and value you spent. You're not losing all that resource and value you spent on. So, I know I just said learn when to engage fights. I have better gear. I have better gear. I have a diamond sword and chain armor. Diamond sword and chain is better than iron armor and stone. And look at that. I have the rest of my iron armor. Bed Wars, at the end of the day, is a game of, you know, strategy, not a game of pure PvP skill. For example, like, you can kill a cheater with a bow. You can kill a really good player with a fireball. You just have to make the right investments and have enough resources to use those items. And I know people hate fireballs, but it's a part of the game. And they're actually very useful, especially for killing people that are better than you. Especially for killing people that are better than you. Okay, these are going away. I don't want this guy getting 20 Ms. I have better gear. Okay, well, I guess the gear doesn't matter. GG. So, we've talked about resource management. We've talked about, you know, picking the right fights to engage. This third tip goes along with the second one, but it's always try and outgear your opponent, you know? If you're going into a fight with the advantage every single time, you're gonna win most of your fights, right? Especially against people that are better at PvP than you. You want to outgear them as much as possible, you know, just to allow yourself the best possible chance at winning, right? And it doesn't really make sense for anyone to be taking fights that they're most likely gonna lose, you know? I usually take fights when they're 1, even, or 2, I outgear them. I usually take even fights on side rushes and people with chain, because that's just the start of the game. But once the resources start flowing and I could get like a diamond sword or something like that, then I usually just, you know, let myself outgear people so I can win. We do have to remember, Bed Wars isn't all about styling on people, it's about winning too, so these tips may not make you a stylish Bed Wars player or a good sumo player, but they'll, you know, definitely get you more wins in general, and they'll help you understand the game more. I don't think I can make that jump. You know, it really does make a massive difference. Okay, sorry, I just had to focus there really quickly. I didn't want to get hit off the edge. Yeah, anyways. So yeah, gear, very important. You know, that's why good resource management is important, so you can have better gear than everyone. You see, for example, I saw that this guy wasn't rushing me this round, so I went and upgraded my gen before I went and rushed him, because I knew he wasn't going to be rushing, and why not get my gen working as fast as it possibly can be while I'm taking out the other base. You know, you don't need to buy deep slate right away if the other team isn't going to rush you, but you have to be 100% sure they're not going to rush you, because there are times where I've gone and rushed people's beds and they've just ran back with the sword and killed me. So you do have to be careful with that one, but it's also something that might help you in general outgear the rest of the game. A lot of people focus on upgrading their gen as much as possible. I don't really subscribe to that mantra. I upgrade it as much as I need. Usually iron armor, diamond sword, just, you know, you win the game, so there's not really a point in upgrading it past getting all that stuff. The only time you need extra gear is if other people in the game get extra gear, and you kind of have to. But other than that, it's, you know, you don't have to upgrade your gen all the way. But the fourth tip is practice your side rushes, because they make or break your game. I guess I shouldn't say side rush. I should probably say, you know, first rush, right? Like I say, for me, most of the time I lose a Bed Wars game, it's because I'm put next to someone who's very good and just destroys me at PvP. So I would recommend learning a bridging method that's easy for you and that, you know, gets you to the diamond gen as fast as humanly possible, so you can get that advantage over your side rush, get that deep slate, and secure your game in the long term without like dying right away. Okay, I'm gonna go to green base. Another thing, you know, another thing to do with side rushes is you have to learn the maps as well. Some of the maps, it takes just 16 blocks, you know, like just 16 is just barely enough to, you know, get enough. Sorry. On certain maps like this one, 16 blocks is barely enough to even make it to the diamond gen, so you have to learn where to start from so that you are actually able to make it. Because if you bridge out to a diamond gen, and you can't actually make it, you're kind of screwed, because you just wasted your blocks. You're staring at, you know, the enemy getting all the diamonds, and you just have to sit there and suffer because they're gonna get deep slate, and now you have to fight, you know, tooth and nail for that deep slate, because that's the only way you survive that game, or you just run. So this guy ran all the way to my base just to run to mid. I love that. Okay, now he's going this way. I think he's going back to his base. So all these 4 tips. Number 1, manage your resources. Number 2, learn when to take fights. Number 3, always outgear your opponent. And number 4, you know, learn how to side rush and first rush well, so you can survive late into games, you know. And this, lastly, we've spent all this time managing our resources, not taking fights that we'll lose. Now it's time that you press your advantage, right? So any advantage you have right now, this guy probably has a diamond sword. but I have a bow, so I'm gonna hit him a few times with the bow to get him low. He just bought diamond armor. Okay, that's not good. I'm gonna put him in a corner because he's in the store and hit him with the fireball. GG's. Anyways, all right, what I was saying before I was, so brutally interrupted by winning the game was we do all these things like manage our resources so that when we have an advantage, we can press it. All of these things give us an advantage so that we can use it, right? Whatever advantage that may be, you want to use as much as you can, right? So if you have a bow and chain armor and the enemy has, iron and better like armor than you, then use your bow. Bow spam them. I know it's annoying and many people don't like it, but bow spam them. Use that to your advantage. That's your advantage in that fight. They didn't get a bow. You have a bow. Bow spam them. If you're really good at bridge combat because you're super laggy, fight people on bridges as much as possible. If you're not good at one-on-one PvP, get better gear or use a different skill of yours and press that advantage too. Like, I would agree that a lot of people would benefit from, instead of panicking, sitting back and seeing what they have and using all of their tools. Another thing is map choice can matter. For example, a map like this, I'm usually going to get to gen first because IC bridging is faster than the other methods. Just little advantages like that, constantly be using them, constantly be showing everyone what you do and use your advantage. This, again, lots of sweats are going to be like, no, this is terrible advice. But if all you want to do is win games, then it'll help you actually, win. And if you're bad at PvP and you need gear, go to mid and run away as soon as you have enough diamonds. And just make it so impossible for people to rush you with nothing that you're not just going to get killed off the start. In general, a lot of Bed Wars skill when it comes to just beating randoms, knowing when to fight, knowing what gear you need, and getting that advantage. Obviously, none of this applies to competitive anything. 1, I don't have any experience with that. 2, it doesn't really matter because most people just play normal Bed Wars. Having better gear also just allows you to not care as much when you're fighting. You don't have to actually combo everyone every time. Like, for example, there I had slightly better gear than him, so I just traded with him for every single hit, and he died and I didn't. And I barely had to try that fight because all I did was trade. These things help you be, 1, you don't have to try as hard, and 2, you actually win games. That's not good. Whew. See, that guy pressed his advantage and almost killed me. That was very lucky. I think he has diamond armor now. GG. See, all you need is better gear, and it's just easy to win. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something from it. This might be the last video of Bed Wars Season 1, so make sure you like and subscribe. Have a great day.